Buenos dias to a Rise and Shine show where you are seen, supported, and ready to rise. I have a guest. No, no, she's over here. It is Barbara Claudio. And I always want to call her Claudia, but it's Barbara, and I get it all mixed up.
It's all
Welcome,
good.
Barbara.
Thank you. Woo!
Let's see that. What are you rocking?
Rise and shine. Rise and shine. I had
I
to. I had to.
I love it. That
I
that
figured
was
it was
magic.
fitting. Thanks.
Certainly magic because we are just celebrating. Well, first of all, right? It's Friday, so yay, weekend's coming. Second of all, we have a guest. It's you, so we celebrating you. Hey,
Thank you. Thanks for
and
having me.
yeah, and third is 4th of July, and it's that freedom chat. But anyway, I'm here, you're here. So I'm
Amen.
here to chat with you about what's I mean, thank you for coming to the show, right? Let's see. You are our first live person for Rise and Shine. How do you
Thank
feel about
you.
that?
I feel great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for saying yes and sharing your Friday
Yes.
with us
Yep.
for
Thank
sure.
you.
I met Claudia. See,
Call
Barbara.
me Barb. Just call me Barb. Go
Barb.
with Barb. Barb. It's so simple. Just
Yes.
call me Barb.
Yeah, Barbara and I met in Springfield, Massachusetts, at our school. What is the name
Yep.
of our school? Just kidding.
Springfield College.
Hey.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I think you know the story I tell. I don't know if I ever told you, but I tell people that I was one out of 17 minorities in the school. this,
That's
how do
awesome.
you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like it's an accomplishment, I guess, and in terms of like feeling like you're like breaking barriers, so to speak,
Mhm, mhm.
within our cultura, where we come from, and it's something that I would say that would be of orgullo, uh, you
Ah,
know.
I like this
So
Spanglish. Oh my god.
yes,
I love
orgullo.
the
In a humble way though, like for real, in a humble way. I mean that. But yeah, so definitely it's nice to be distinguished.
yeah, we were in the same club because I was part of the YMCA club. I was big time into the YMCA back then.
Yep,
So my apologies in advance.
no worries.
Yeah, but I did have a lot of fun. So I love that you are joining me from your outdoor living. Uh,
Yes, I'm on my deck, and we are going to try to finish our deck, the floor.
mhm.
So I usually have like my setup here, but I had to set up my own little thing because literally this is where I go in the morning on summer mornings, and I just do some sun gazing, coffee,
Hey,
listening to the birds and my chickens, and before like the usual, hustle and bustle of the day starts. So that's my usual mornings in the summertime. I love it.
rewind. You have chickens? Oh
I
my
do. I do. I
gosh.
have a chicken coop. We get our eggs in the morning. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if it's too much I mean, it's probably gonna be too much if the camera goes there, right? That
Oh,
is
girl, I got you. I got you. I'll make it happen.
oh snap, guys. Where's Marlene? I gotta go text Marlene. Let me put you nice and big.
And I can show you my garden because that's part of like what we do for like my family and what we cultivate in our home. We
Yeah.
have broccoli growing. We have the chickens over there.
Oh my gosh, that is like hashtag goals, Barb.
These are the raspberries. They're growing. Look at them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's my chickens. I
I
got four chickens. I have I have chocolate thunder right there with the orange.
Hmm.
I have Beretta. I have Rosita. She's named after my aunt, the white one. And the
Oh.
other one, I can't even remember what the kids called her. They're all female. They're all female.
Do they call her
Yeah. So
bitch?
yeah, we didn't want any like male ones because I think there's actually a limitation for my actual where I live, like our town. So
Mm.
they only allow you to have a certain amount. And I didn't want to like, do anything I wasn't supposed to do. But
Yeah.
people don't
Oh my
complain
goodness.
usually. But
When you were showing me that, I was like, imagine that being the beginning of Rice and Shine with some chickens, whoop, whoop, some
yeah,
singing.
girl, they're loud in the morning when they're latched into their house. Like they will let you know, like, listen, I need you to open this door.
Let me
So
out.
yeah, so that's our morning rise in the morning. It's like that and the dogs. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Please do send me a video, or I might just use you right there when you were showing me. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah, let me know. Like I would totally shoot you a nice video. I have like a few videos already, so I can totally do that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is one of the coolest thing that we do. I know that you have your mug in there. Which is it coffee or is it tea?
It is coffee with
Ooh,
MCT oil.
yes.
Mhm.
Yes. You get your fats, your fatty acids with your
Yes, ma'am.
caffeine.
Your omega 3s for the
Yes.
brain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that we do is the weather. So what's the weather, Barb?
Girl, it is beautiful and sunny. And I want to say it's like 75 right now, but
Wow.
it's supposed to be a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
And literally, like, just, puffy little small clouds. It's a perfect morning.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Uh
Mhm.
and you're in your outfit,
Mm.
like we're out there, the sun was shining, you were showing us your chickens.
Oh, you're too funny.
I'm loving all of this. And I know like
Thank
this
you.
stream has no title yet. I haven't even done one for you as a guest, but
Yep.
I know like what I was gonna share. Maybe you want to join in the conversation with that. I mean, how cool this is what's called live stream, people. This is completely
Yes. Raw
live.
and real and
Barb said
uncut.
Barb said, I want to join any conversation. I am absolutely in. So anyway, I'm not sure if you ever read the book The Artist's Way. I think you said no, right? And I might have said,
No, I haven't. But you sent me some of the photos and stuff, and
yeah.
it seemed really cool. I know that you mentioned your husband was starting it, right?
Yeah, yeah. We're calling him the founder.
Awesome.
The founder, because me and my bestie also has it. A couple of my besties have it, and I asked her because we started this called Sacred Circle. I was like,
Okay.
wait, I had asked one of my friends. She goes, yeah, no, Jimmy's the one who introduced me to, and I was like,
Okay.
okay, my hubby is the one. So but anyway, so for today and yesterday, so we're talking about being our true selves, right? So that's pretty much the topic I started on
Yeah.
Monday, and so I want to like
Yep.
complete that for this week. And the question that I put out there is, what part of your authentic self are you ready to embrace more? So it's basically we said like what part of it right now you just want to like take that and bring it up a notch more. And when I came up on last week,
Yep.
I was talking about our breath. Man, okay, here's something new. Here's something new. I'll share this with you and everyone. Um,
Yep.
I noticed that when I do certain activities, I am actually holding my breath. And I had zero clue that in some basic life activities without anyway, I want to keep that like on hold. But
Yeah.
as I'm doing this live activity, I'm
Mhm.
holding my breath. And
Yep.
I'm like, oh wow, and last week I was just talking about like the power of getting that belly breath, because a lot
Yeah.
of people think that deep breathing is this, and it's like absolutely not. It's right
Mhm.
here. Like you want to
Right.
expand your belly as you breathe
Mhm.
in, and
Yep.
then
Yep.
right.
Right.
So, and just getting back to us, right? Because last week's topic was safety, and it was like, so how do we? At least for me, it's like,
Yeah.
what do I go and do, and give, and everything's earned, everything's thriving. That's
Yeah.
my motto when it's like right
Right.
here. Like I want to feel that calmness, and then for me,
Right.
it comes from the breath. So
Right.
this whole journey I'm starting with this season is just like
Yep.
getting back to us,
Yep.
and on Monday for our identity, because I'm just kind of giving you a recap, right? How we got
Yeah.
started in this
Yep.
season.
Yep.
And then on Monday, I was just talking about more about like the affirmations that are not to, because we think we write an affirmation or we post it and that's it. Like that comedian.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like Cuban Dominican comedian. What is his name?
Yep. Yep.
And but it's more about like the repetition, because repetition is the mother of learning. So like, how can we just write one affirmation one time while we have all these years of our lives of all this negativity, all the story we told ourselves about
Right. The
ourselves?
programming. I
So it's
call it
like,
conditioning and programming.
exact. So how do we just go one time? No, it's the power of the repetition of the affirmations of remembering who we are. So
Right.
that's absolutely fire what you just said at the end. So yeah, so like that's the question, like, so we're just asking, or we're like digging in what's something that we for me, I want it, and actually I'll share it. Sorry, I don't want to step on my dog, but one of the exercises from this book, it's so funny. I put private and I put Jimmy. So
Yeah.
Jimmy doesn't go in there. He's terrible. But I love him. Okay. And I love him. So one of the exercises for this book, Barb, is to write out blurbs. Basically, what she calls blurbs, it's like those negative things, like, "Oh, you can't sing," or "What about this?" Right? That we take as a child, we're like, "Oh," we kind of like choke, and we believe that to be true. So she said, write it down
Mhm.
and turn that into an affirmation. So
Gotcha.
obviously, I'm not gonna share because I've been realizing that I a lot of times I need to add more discernment in my life, right? So without sharing that any of that before, I
Yeah.
would, I'll start crying. But now, what I want to say about this, that is such a great exercise. So, and I realize that is one of the it has been one of the hardest things for me, because I know about my 75-day journey, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been talking about it forever. But like that repetition of facing the pain or yourself, like when I go
Yeah.
and will take that picture, right? For my,
Yeah.
those are hard, because it's basically, it's an act of phasing you, how
Right.
you are right now, not the
Right.
you that you want to become, but it's
Right.
a shot of this is me right now. Do I love it? Do I like you, right? So
Right.
that's for me, that's been my thing, is just with the affirmations, I want to grab those blurs, turn them around to what's true, and
Mhm.
start with affirmation. But that's me, so, and that's what
Awesome.
I talked about in Monday. But I know there are tons of ways of how we could just learn more and more how to embrace ourselves. So yeah, that's
Gotcha.
my little
Thanks
recap. How did I do, people? Did I do good?
thanks for sharing. That was awesome. That takes vulnerability, right?
Yeah, yeah, going first. Absolutely. Vulnerability, going
Mhm.
first. Yes, doing the
Mhm.
thing. that are challenging to share and being going out there, because there's a difference between vulnerability and transparency, which I'm learning. Shoot, but
Yes,
anyway,
girl.
you.
I hear that. Transparency usually deals with clarity and
Hmm.
clearing out what's kind of vague, right?
Mm.
Whereas vulnerability, it's like you're taking a chance knowing that you might get hurt.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that for sure. Mm. Yeah, and still doing it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I love that, Barb. I know that like the topic in itself, it's not. I don't come here to say I found an answer. I'm saying is
Yeah.
what I'm going through
Yeah.
as I continue to
Yeah.
remember myself.
Right.
Because I mean, like, the honest truth, Barb, is like, okay, so like who I desire to bring in and have more people join this community of Rise and Shine. It's someone, who's maybe walked away from something, like a thought, um or something that claimed them, right? It could be either an institution like a church, not just a church, but like
Oh,
schools themselves,
family.
belief system, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And a version of themselves that they're walking away from that old version.
Construct. Yeah. It's like a construct that people get so attached to that haven't really produced fruits for themselves, knowing that when the outcomes that you keep getting don't support who you want to become, right? That's essentially like, deconstructing those systems that we thought were quote unquote normal, or
Yeah,
we default sometimes, right, within those systems.
yeah.
People's perspectives we take on as our own,
Mm,
or we just don't have enough of our own values that are more important than others, so we put that before ours.
yeah,
So I hear what you're saying, and it definitely is something that over the years um I've been trying to really just also figure out, and doing what best supports me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
yeah.
So I hear that when you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah. And is your garden one of those tools you've been using in this journey?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like my life is a little different than what people have known me to
Mm,
be before. So
okay.
that past version of me, people still have in their mind. And so sometimes it can be from a place of judgment that
Hmm.
people can make conclusions about me without even asking, or
Yeah.
just assuming, presuming. And for me, it's just one of those things where, like, I'm okay doing what I'm doing, and I don't care if it's something that people were expecting me not to be. Like, I'm okay with that, because I'm living a different life. I'm cultivating something different for myself and for my kids, and I want them to understand and learn and grow in understanding that family's important. Like, just us as a small family unit, like, what do we do together as a family, and how we nurture each other. What are some ways that I have to adjust my life so that there's equilibrium in within our family dynamics, where we're all doing something that we love. It's not just like wanting to do it because it's a trend, or like trying to be busy. It's like the type of busy that I feel would be a legacy that I'm leaving behind for my children, that I know that when they look back on it, my hope is that they would say that I was a present mom, that I was a loving mom, that I was a supporting mom, that I showed up for them and I showed up for myself too. And those two things can happen at the same time. And
Yes.
sometimes it's messy, and we're all like in our own stages of development, and we're just embracing that and trying to do things differently than what we were handed down. Essentially, that's my goal for my family.
Yeah. How did you get to, I don't know if the word is push through, but um for someone who's stepping into doing something new in their life, or to say no to certain, and it's unfortunately it is going to be certain people, like we leave certain, hanging out with certain people, or going to certain places,
Right.
people find it really hard to do that. What would be something that can help someone who's looking to transition? Because I know I've done it in different ways, and the one way that I don't ever want to do again or give advice is the whole cold turkey, oh, I'm a Christian now and I don't do that. I said that, and I'm so embarrassed that I've said that. Like, that's a one thing that if I could take that back, I
Yeah.
would. I would. I will take it back. I will take it back.
Yeah.
To because so then I done it differently, which but I'll share it after you. So what are some of the ways that you taking yourself out of certain environments? How did you do that?
I I want to say that it took time to do those things, small decisions leading up to bigger decisions, I would say,
Hmm.
that would create the space for people to like understand that, and not that you need them to understand, but
Hmm.
it's like you're trying to gain the courage to have this lifestyle or this particular perspective of living, of you know evolving, and
Mm-hmm.
you know that it's going to come with mistakes and setbacks, and you have to kind of accept that you are going to stumble along the way, and that's okay, and so are other people who might not understand your walk,
Hmm.
and having compassion for that and creating that space of like, I know this is going to be hard. Maybe for some people looking on the outside, it looks really harsh, but sometimes you need to have those moments of, okay, some things will come as a trickle effect, while other things will be like a hard no or a hard shift, right?
Hmm.
But then like scaling back to, okay, where's that middle ground where it's like it's not one extreme or the other, it's like that middle. And I find myself being in that particular place of being in the middle, where
Okay.
not everything has to be
Black
black
and
and
white.
white. It's like there's a middle ground for things that you're trying to like, you know, start up or phase into. But I think the phasing in is like you taking a leap of faith,
Hmm.
while also knowing that it's going to be a hard decision and not everybody's going to be on board, and that's okay, because
Yeah.
you're going to figure that out anyways, and you're going to find ways to like adapt to the situations or the conversations or the dynamics or the systems, and it's like it's not totally crystal clear, and you have to be okay with that. We're
Yeah.
all just learning about where we are, and as we go, we're growing, and we're trying to, there's a goal, and the goal doesn't have to be perfected in the process. It just needs to be forward movement.
One step at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were talking about that whole compassion, because when we lack compassion for ourselves, it's hard to give it to other people. And
Yes.
I know that that was part of me and part of that journey. I was like, why are people driving me crazy? Could it be that I'm driving me crazy and I'm not okay? So why even like the journal that I created, it was like that was for my self compassion, for me to be compassionate with Patty. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so that's a big one. And then you said you don't have to give an explanation. And that,
That's right.
yeah, yeah, no, you don't. You
No
don't.
explanations for a period.
Yeah.
You
No, that
know?
because then we're like, people are thinking, like, okay, what should I say? Nada.
Yeah. Like, and sometimes people think that they have to accept you where you are. You don't.
Right,
You get to choose. You get to opt out. It's okay, and it's like it's not that like I don't know. Sometimes people think it's like a thing where it's like there's no way to see it any other way. It's like okay,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
there's there's other ways to reframe what you're thinking about or how you perceive something or like
That's
somebody
important.
somebody that's changing outside of the dynamics of whatever system relationship community it it's their journey. You don't need to like question their journey. The best thing you can do for that person is respect their journey and
Hmm.
have the same, like you said, have compassion. And not everybody's going to be on board, and know that it's okay.
Yeah, that's really good about. I don't know if you meant it like this, but like respecting their decision to stay in that belief system or in that church,
Yeah.
and that's so true because that is part of the respecting people, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're evolving. Somebody doesn't want to respect that.
Right. Like
it,
see them, like meet them where they are, and
Mhm.
don't have an expectation attached to that, because somebody else's response is not your responsibility. It's what
Yeah.
you do, that you are yourself are creating and cultivating whatever response or reaction to that. Like you have to own that, and
Yeah.
they have to own their response or reaction.
Yeah, that's like that load, right? Man,
Yeah.
that is the I forget the exact verse, but one of the things that as I was deconstructing what I had learned,
Yeah.
that whoa, that like that load that we're supposed to be helping other people, it's like in those harsh times such as death and
Yeah.
financial stress or something like that, when it's like really hard, like those
Yeah.
really big boulders. But it is a response. Our responsibility is our feelings, our thoughts. No one else is responsible for that. No one else. That is not where we come in and we flip tables and we
or
call
or
that
save other people, right? Or save other people from the consequences of how they decided to show up in that moment. It's like, there's that's exactly it. It's like what you said and what I'm saying. It's like,
that's so true. Thank you for saying that. Oh man, I was just talking about that. Because yeah, we think it is our job to save people. And when you come from 20 years plus believing that,
right,
but again, it's going to be their own journey, their own unveiling
right,
of that thinking. And so one of the reasons too, like Jimmy and I will come live on Wednesdays for our podcast, so me and
uh-huh,
Jimmy, we're not on the same page. He's like, no, we gotta let everybody know. And so it's because we were in separate journeys, we're like, okay, we need to like pause for a second again, like
Yep, yep.
because and then because of time too, like
Yeah.
it's coming back because I find
Mhm.
it very healthy if Jimmy and I are not on the same page. I actually find that healthy. I find that okay, it's my perspective and it's his, and we're still married, happily married, and we're here,
Right, right.
right?
Exactly.
So
I
yeah.
hear that. And what you were saying is about saving people. It's like
Mm,
when you go into that mindset of like saving people, it's like you rob them of the opportunity to have them like rise to the occasion for themselves and show up for themselves. That's how I see that. And that's and a lot of times people will guilt you for not doing your part, or their assumptions about what you could have and should have done, or those things can be very taxing on people, because you know that you're a compassionate, kind person, and when you're met with like that expectation, it's like you're like, what do you mean? It's like, why would I, me coming into the picture and swoop down and do whatever it takes? That to me, that's selfish.
mm,
That's not selfless. That's like trying to take the reins when
control.
you're not the one that reigns and rules, like you just can't do that all the time. It's like there's certain times where it might be necessary, and it might actually save a life. Like I did have to do that like
Mm,
a long time ago. I
mm,
did have to do that in a moment of despair,
mm.
and to the benefit of that person.
Yeah.
um and that's the kind of, you know um that's where you would have to have discernment, like you were saying. It's like
Yeah.
there's moments where you're gonna need to discern whether to step in or back, or step back, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes us stepping back is like us losing control, and we have to face ourselves about that. Like we can't continue thinking that, oh, well, if I don't do anything, nothing's gonna happen, or it's not gonna happen. This, like, just no,
Yeah.
let it go. Like you are not the be all end all of whatever happens when you do it, and everything that comes after that. That's not your place.
We're not in control. Yeah, because like one thing that I wanna who because I asked a question about whoever's watching too. I've asked myself this question, like, and it helped me when I was like, okay, people are because when as you're saying that, I could see like maybe anger rising up, like, oh, why are people so controlling? Or blah 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 blah. But what has helped me and it continues to help me is to pause for a second about where the anger is coming from in the sense of, and it's very simple. And it's very simple.
Yeah.
It's basically putting yourself in their shoes and say, you know what, I was part of that. I did that. I did that. Right? Can we all be honest and like can we all say, yeah, I try to manipulate, I try to control, maybe not in a malice way. And maybe those
Right.
people are not doing it. Maybe they
Right.
really do believe that they're there to safe. Okay, so can we take that for a second, a hot second, and be and say that, right? Like flip that for a second. Instead of saying they, I scratch they and I put in I,
Right.
and I try to find something. And again, it comes back to, I think the more angry we get at other people, it shows up a little bit of our lack of self compassion. And again,
Right.
I
Right.
clean that up again
Yep.
because I was like, whoa, that's so true.
Hmm.
Because at
Yeah.
first, like, I think people are still being victims, but if we take that word out, let's just self reflect, right? And
Right.
I'm calling this a self reflection 4th of
Yeah.
July. This is a
Yeah.
good conversation. So thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
No
that's
problem.
That's
I hear that, and it's one of those things where it's like you have to look at the mirror yourself. Like there are times when there, like you said, there
okay.
are actual victims of abuse and what
Yeah,
and a slew of things that do happen.
yeah,
And I think that kind of conversation wouldn't be productive for someone who just had a situation, right? It's
yes,
almost it's a conversation for when you're in recovery and you're starting to look within yourself in terms of reflecting on yourself, and then like having that mindset of trying to put yourself in that person's shoes in a way that's compassionate, but also like sometimes there are times where you do have to see it for what it is. So discernment is essential, like you were saying, that we have to use our discernment in order to make those in order to arrive to that understanding
yeah,
of the situation. So yeah, so depending on where you are on the spectrum of trying to like unlearn the things that you have accepted blindly, you have to face yourself in the mirror and also um demand more of yourself
mm,
in terms of like, okay, do I want to continue complaining about this and
mm,
not do anything? It's
mm,
like there's phases to like our healing journey, and when we're stuck in the why, it doesn't help us to take action. It just keeps us in a state of just like self-loathing or just like wanting to know the why. And sometimes we don't need to know the why of why people do things, right? We
yeah,
just have to accept it for what it is,
hmm,
and have the moving forward and the closure or the continuation for ourselves, not be attached to someone else's um, you know, like agency. We have agency. And one of the things that like you were talking about in terms of like where I'm at, like you asked the question like where I'm at. My thing right now is agency.
mm,
How do we have our own agency despite our circumstances, despite what we've gone through, and learning how to cultivate resilience and continuing to move the pendulum forward instead of waiting around for people to give you permission to move on.
yeah, yeah. Where did you get the word the agency? Actually, this is the first time I hear this. Mhm.
Agency to me is is kind of one of those understandings of self autonomy. Like you
Okay.
have power to within yourself to to act on,
Mm,
to do what you're gonna do, to think what you're gonna think,
yeah.
and and not giving so much power away,
Mm,
to other people.
yeah.
And I think that's been my journey for a little while now, but agency has been the word for me for a while. And
Really?
now, yeah, and it's moved into resilience and understanding what resilience looks like,
Hmm.
because when you have agency, it creates resilience.
Hmm.
It strengthens your character and your um like spiritual stamina. And that's where I'm at, and it's a beautiful journey, and it's messy, but it's also a space where I have learned to show self-compassion and also like try to also have compassion for other people who
Mm,
are not on the same uh, mindset. You
yeah.
just hand that over and surrender that because it was never yours to begin with, so to speak. It's
Yeah.
like you have to do you moving forward regardless, right? It's just you have the power to change things for yourself.
Yeah. And you at the beginning of our conversation, as like we wrap up this Fourth of July reflection, you said that it takes time,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and for people like me, like action taker now I'll jump in the pool. Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
It could seem like what, like it's such a like, oh my gosh, no, can we do it today, you know? So but it is a beautiful, it's part of why I like to use the word journey, part of why I like to use the word marathon, because when you take a look at, right, when I was in, because I did a half a marathon in Hawaii, and
Nice.
going through seeing the mountains and seeing the ocean,
Oh, that must have been
starting
beautiful.
with starting with a whole bunch of people, and all of a sudden I'm like, no, I cannot see anyone in front of me. No, I cannot see anyone. It's just me. It's just me and God and nature and Hawaii.
Aw.
And it started like, oh, okay, let me go back. Maybe we go grab that moment when you're like alone, like in space, and there is time. Like I knew I wasn't gonna go and win a marathon. I wasn't going for the first people. I'm like, listen, I want to just make it through the line,
That's right. Yep. That's
you
right.
know.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I made it. I made it because I just got really slower. And I was like,
Yep.
steady, breathe. I could do this.
Perseverance.
Yeah, right. Resilience, right? It's like when, well, I guess back to your agency point, like, who cares if there's people in front of me, right? Who cares if I'm one of the last, right?
Yep.
Because I actually do have a beautiful story that my dad, I did a bicycle marathon, and I was very young, and I was the last. We were the last ones, but
Aw.
dad, my dad did not want me to give up. I
Yep.
remember crying. I remember
Aw.
telling him my legs hurt. Like I'm like that, all in Spanish, right? No puedo. No, this is
Yep.
in
Yep.
Peru. Like no
Yep.
puedo. I'm gonna die. He's like,
Yep.
no, no, we are getting to the finish line.
That's right.
When we got there to like the park, people like, in a big auditorium celebrating, they
Aw.
said, can the oldest person and the youngest person come to the front? My dad dropped those bikes, grabbed me, put me in his
Mm.
shoulder, pushed through the crowd. Because remember, we were the last one. So he pushed through that crowd to
Aw.
get me on stage because I was the youngest. And she goes, see, he's like, you didn't give up and you're gonna get a medal. I wish I had this medal. I wish this medal existed in my house.
Aw.
But I got to the stage and I remember like I'm supposed to put the medal in the old guy, and the old guy's supposed to put the medal on me. So the old guy, cute little man, puts the medal on me, and then I go, y este es tu medal is medalla, right?
Medalla. Yep.
However, you remember I was tired. Remember I was shaky. Remember I was ready to give up.
Yes.
And then I got tongue tied, and I was like, man, I started like just completely losing my voice, and the people in the front were like, "Come on!" I was like, "How rude are these people?" But hold on, and I'm like, "Okay." And then he's like trying to help me. He's like, "Medalla," and I'm like, "Medalla," and then all of a sudden, woo! People
Ah,
cheer.
that's
and I
awesome.
and I stood there, like, oh, this is nice. So I am so happy that I had like a reward right away from
Yeah.
that painful situation.
Yes, girl.
So I brought that with me to Hawaii, right? Like my dad
Yeah.
saying, "You got just do it." Just even though like he was a little bit like harsh, come on, do it fast. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna do it slowly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that picture in my mind.
Yep. Yep.
And so guess what? When I made it in Hawaii, I crossed the finish line and I threw up.
I love that. That is such a that must have been such an impressionable memory. Like
Yeah.
I could even like the way you were talking and saying that, I could picture it as you were saying it. That's awesome. And the throw up, probably one of the most, you know, the high point of the highlight of that time, that
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. There was no cheering there. It was the ambulance. I had to go in the little hut.
Yeah,
I
because
was
you had
like,
to
my
hydrate.
journey.
Wow.
I love it. Well, my friend Barb, I think we started talking again because you popped in the morning show when
I
I
did,
was
yes.
calling it the
I was
morning.
like, "What's up, you guys? What are you guys up to?" It sounds like good conversations.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And I still want to head out there. Wait, tell everybody where you joining us from again. What part of
Connecticut, Connecticut.
Hey, there's so many Peruvians and Peruvian food in Connecticut. It's not
Girl,
even funny.
I grew up with like that lifestyle meal like all the time. My stepdad growing up, he was Peruvian.
Okay.
Um so I grew up in the cultura of the Peruvians. So like
Oh, snap. I didn't know
all of the food and everything, girl, brings back memories when you're talking. Yeah.
that. I love that. Well, thank you for joining me in this important conversation of self identity, becoming a true self, and tons of things that we talked and you share. So I appreciate you.
Thank
Um,
you so much for having me.
of course. And for this one, I don't have the fancy music or any of that. So, hey, no music, but we are heading out.
All right. Well, rise and shine to you all beautiful people and have a wonderful and blessed 4th of July.
Yes. Hey, can you bring it to the camera? And that's how I'll end the show. I love that.